a democratic republic of sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
Welcome into the Sportsocracy. I'm Tank Spencer, and Ginge is back.
What up?
Love your little raccoon eyes. We have the Zoom in with him.
What up? The mullet's back and he's pissed.
Jeremy apparently not too happy with some of my takes about free agency over the last week. Shocker of shockers. Who's surprised about that? So we got the unloading coming after we talk some basketball, because March Madness has proven to be just that. You are in the Sportsocracy, at the Sportsocracy on all of the social medias. Be sure to like, share, and follow. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel here, and we are live in the Wicked Weed studio. WickedWeedBrewing.com. Drink different. Oh man, so it happened. We had way more upsets than I thought there were going to be.
Hi friends. I believe somebody said that.
Yeah, I couldn't see it. I could not see Loyola Chicago coming in and taking down number 1 seed Illinois. That's the one of my 3 national champions that's already gone.
They gone.
Were you surprised by that?
The Loyola
Chicago?
Yes.
Okay,
You know what that proves? The power of prayer works. Because that geriatric woman said, we need them to shoot under 30%, and they couldn't hit water off a bridge.
There is no way. Only in the NCAA tournament can an athlete with the stature of Cameron Krutwig make Kofi Coburn look like just a dude.
This has been the most bizarre tournament I have ever seen in my life. And it's exactly what I said. I just picked all the wrong upsets. I had a 15. I had a 14.
Okay.
I just didn't have these.
Well, let's talk about the bracket. I got my bracket here. It doesn't look all that good. It's not great.
Mine looks like Joss Whedon's cut of Justice League. It's that bad.
Illinois, my other participant in the national title game, is out after the Loyola game. Wasn't good.
Yeah, my national champion's still in.
Well, my national champion's still in too.
The team they beat still in.
Oh, there you go.
All my final four still in.
There you go. It was all going well until Cameron Krutwig had something to say about it. I was truly shocked by that game. Like, I don't know. It was just Illinois' defense was so
pathetic.
Awful. Just
well, here's
awful.
the thing. This is what happens when you have teams that play good defense. And Loyola Chicago plays good defense. You want me to tell you something, the NCAA? You want to figure out how to win games in the tournament? Play fucking defense!
They kept running screens on Kofi Coburn, and it worked every time. Every friggin' time. They could not figure a way to defend that. And it shocked the shit out of me that at some point you wouldn't figure out this is the game plan. The game plan is either to get Krutwig the ball and let him do that little spin move he does, or just run a screen on Kofi Coburn and it's money every time. And they were so befuddled on the offensive side of the ball. The Loyola came in being the number one
defense in the country.
Yeah, number 1 in defensive efficiency in the country. And they made them look silly. And
it was driving me nuts. My head was in the thing, and someone much shorter than me has been sitting in this seat, and I can't be up that high. That's better.
Old baby bear's been in your chair.
That's better. Papa Bear's back in his chair, and porridge is just fine.
And here's the thing. If Porter Moser is not the head coach of Indiana soon, they're doing it wrong.
Dude, teams have tried to hire him. He keeps not doing it. It's almost like Sister Jean has dirty pictures of him or some shit. And he's afraid to leave until she's gone.
Yikes.
That's not the game I want to talk about. I want to talk about West Virginia, Syracuse is the game I want to talk about.
Okay.
And I have a rant, and you're just going to have to bear with me. I haven't had the ability to bitch about things for a while. You want me to tell you why guys like Jim Boeheim stick around forever?
Why's that?
Because shit like happened yesterday. They play a 2-3 zone, which, by the way, is the easiest defense in the history of fucking creation to beat. And nobody can beat it. You get into situations like this and nobody can beat it. And you know why nobody can beat it? Because they never see it. and they're never taught how to play legitimate offense. If I watch one more team with a point guard who stands at the top of the three-point circle and just dribbles around for 20 seconds and then goes, #team gets mine. Hey, y'all, watch this. I'm going to go run into a center and throw one over my fucking shoulder. I'm going to scream. I have never sworn that much in a public place in my life as watching West Virginia's, I'm going to call it an offense, and that's offensive to offenses. But this is what happens. Jim Boeheim recruits players that buy in. And I understand they're not always great in the regular season. You know what they are? They're good in the tournament. So long as they get there, they're really hard to freaking beat because he builds teams that you've never seen before. And they run this thing. It's weird, and I know it's rare. It's a legitimate offense. Guys move, set screens, work off each other. You know, don't just stand around at the three-point circle like, hey, throw me the ball. I'll jack it up with this dude's hand directly in my face. He's going to be booping me as I shoot this, but I'm still going to do it.
Right.
Between the NBA and college basketball, I'm watching them destroy a sport that I've loved since I was just a little feller, and it pisses me off to no end.
But that's not the way we play. We don't play fundamental basketball anymore. It's, you know, and you're right. It's not taught. It's not taught,
Nope.
and teams can't figure it out. They got this, you know, you talk about the guy going, team gets mine. And
that's all the offense. I swear to God, if you did a profile of every team that played in the NCAA tournament and asked what kind of offense do you run, ISO is 60 of the 68 teams, including mine. Florida State does this constantly, and it drives me bananas.
Right. And so many teams run it, and it is their downfall.
But it's the AA.
But it also helps when you have Buddy Boeheim not missing anything.
Woo.
I mean, Buddy Boeheim is, again, one of the best players in the nation in the last month.
Yeah, and he couldn't hit water off a bridge in the first half. And you know what he did? At halftime, as opposed to go and listen to old Papa Bear talk about what he had fucked up, he sat there and shot jumpers.
Yep.
And he caught fire, and he was fine. But this is the AAUification of basketball. It's the most infuriating thing in any sport I've ever seen, because the best player on the team, they just look at him and go, it's four dudes watching one dude try to score. Mm-hmm. It's like watching frat boys at a bar, which, by the way, I saw a lot of. And they never stop partying. That's all. I get older, and yet I stay the same age.
Oregon State beating Oklahoma State was another big surprise to me yesterday.
Yeah, and you know why? Because four dudes sat around and watched Cade Cunningham.
Yep.
They went, he's the best player on the team. He's going to get up the lion's share of the shots. And in terms of a legitimate offense, we don't have one. Mm-hmm. We're just going to run around. I've never seen more meaningless movement. It's a term that, you know, when I was a young buck, we used to use. There's no point in meaningless movement. You're burning your legs for no reason. Mm-hmm. And I watch it constantly. Why are you doing what you're doing? If you're just running around pointlessly, you're basically playing tag. If you're not setting screens and having defined movement, you're not really doing anything. And it winds up with these god-awful shots. Who was that? I can't remember who the game was because, well, I've been drunk for about 9 straight days. I'm sweating right now. I believe that's withdrawals is what they...
So what game? What game are you talking about?
It was one of the first 4. Wichita State, maybe. And with 5 minutes to go in the game, the team leading had 42 points. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a 30-second shot clock. If you're not shooting 12% from the floor, this should not happen, ever.
Right.
And yet it did. And it's just constant. It's a constant thing. And this is what I tried to tell you before I left. Mm-hmm. We're getting to a tournament here where the discrepancy in talent is not that wide. The difference between a Texas and I'll say go Syracuse.
I was going to say Abilene Christian.
Now there's a marked discrepancy there. But they play as a team. And they play legitimate offense because these guys weren't the best player on their AAU team, or they were on an AAU team that didn't have a best player like that, and they had to learn how to play the game. Oh, that felt good. I got a few more of those in me for today.
But that is a common theme, though, that we're seeing throughout this tournament. All of these teams that are, relying on star power to be able to carry them through are not, they're not winning the games. They're getting these close battles and fundamentals take over.
Oh,
and
by
so
the
that's
way,
why everybody.
I have to say this.
Yeah.
There are two things that as a basketball purist piss me off to no end. If you can't shoot free throws, I hate you. I don't care. I don't care if you feed homeless children in your spare time. If you can't hit a fucking free throw, I hate you. If you can't get the damn ball inbounds, I hate you too. It's not that hard.
Yep.
You have 4 dudes. You don't have to throw it to one specific guy. But that was something I learned a few years ago when this was still relevant to me. They only look for one guy on the inbound. Mm-hmm. Who's the best free throw shooter on the team? That's the only guy you have to guard. There is somebody wide ass open on every inbound play that I've seen in the last 5 days.
Yep.
He's wide open. You know what's better? You know what's better than taking, a 5-second violation or throwing the ball out of bounds? Throw it to that guy. I don't care if he shoots 50% from free throw line. It's better than a turnover.
Right.
Why is that so fucking difficult?
Exactly.
And that's why everybody.
But Brian, the Syracuse guy's going, preach. Testify.
That's why everybody was so hot on Colorado coming into the tournament, was that they were a good fundamental team and they shot a lot of free throws.
They go home today.
Mm-hmm. But sometimes that works, and I wouldn't count those chickens before they hatch, because your boys hadn't been playing all that well.
Do you know what they shot from 3 against Greensboro?
What was that?
It was 0 for 9. They didn't hit one.
Yeah.
Not one.
Yeah.
They didn't accidentally hit one.
Mm-hmm.
They can't play much worse. Just throwing that out there. They can't play much worse.
I'm not saying that they can't. I'm just saying that it hasn't gone all that well. You end up losing to Georgia Tech, and you eked out a win against Greensboro.
We didn't eke out a win. That game was never in doubt. Anybody that ever thought we were going to lose that game, I have a bridge to sell you. Greensboro had one guy that could score, and it was super obvious.
Greensboro fans, there was a belief down at the end that we were, they were going to cut into that lead and make it look good. And I think they did make it look good.
Okay, let's play a fun game. There are 6 teams that have won a game in every one of the last 4 tournaments.
Yes.
6 of them. Do you know who they are?
I know your team's one of them. I think Michigan's another one. Villanova.
You're missing one very obvious one.
Gonzaga.
There it is.
Who am I leaving out?
Kansas and Florida.
Kansas and Florida.
We're one of 6 teams that has won a game in every tournament. New bloods, bitches.
Nice.
Fuck your blue blood.
Hey, I can't say anything. Carolina got dogged by Wisconsin.
And it was so predictable.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I told you. I said going into the tournament, I've got them going into the next round because they're Carolina. And somehow Roy Williams always finds a way to win.
My question is, how did 2 people in our bracket game have Carolina winning the national title? Did you honest to God think all 67 other teams were going to get coronavirus? Because that's the only way that was happening. I love Roy and I like Carolina. Come on now. Let's put on our big boy pants. That was never happening.
Oh, come on now. If it had come down between them and Norfolk State, I feel like they could have.
Well, Norfolk State, were they even in it?
Yeah.
I remember
they got killed by Gonzaga.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, if everybody got corona, that's one team they could have beaten.
My sweetheart 15 seed was Cleveland State because I love Dennis Gates.
Oh.
And woof. It's one of the only underdogs I've missed on. I think they were a 19.5-point dog and they got beat by 706. I think they were actually down 22-0 before the game started.
Houston's a good club.
They're not bad.
When you tried to tell me that Cleveland State was your darling, I was going, that's
well,
not,
you also got to remember, I said that before
picked.
they got paired off. I knew they were going to be a 15.
Right.
I might have underevaluated just how good Quentin Grimes is.
I mean, every seed ended up winning except for a 16 seed.
And to be honest with you, I'm a little shocked 16 didn't win. Yeah. This would have been a year for that. But the high-end teams are really good. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be honest with you. I won't be shocked if there's not another one that doesn't make it to the next weekend.
Really?
Yep.
See, I haven't changed. I still feel like Gonzaga is Nothing's going to stop them. Kiss of death?
That's the one.
Okay.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Okay. That's the one you think can make it through.
That's the one I think loses.
Oh, that's the one you think loses?
Today.
No way.
Today. Just remember who said it.
To Ohio. Why?
Just remember who said it. They don't play Ohio. They play Oklahoma.
Or, excuse me, to Oklahoma. Why? Again, why?
You've played nothing but West Coast Conference competition for 4 months. You're about to see legitimate talent. You keep telling me, oh, they beat, I can't remember.
Everybody in their bracket.
Yeah. Oh, they beat them in November.
Right.
That's been a minute ago. Just saying. I could be wrong. Okay. I've been wrong before.
Yeah.
But when I saw Oklahoma, I went, God, you better hope they lose, because that is not a team you want to have to play. I
did have in my bracket one number 1 seed losing today, and it's LSU over Michigan.
Well,
without Isaiah Livers, I feel like they're not going to be able to stand up to
I'm going to be really honest with you. Every player on Michigan's team's liver could end up like mine is right now. Yeah. They still win.
Okay.
The only liver that can keep them from being in the Sweet 16 is all of them, and they'd all have to explode.
Okay. Not a believer in LSU.
They're going to dog LSU.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That one's going to get ugly.
All right.
Bet your house today? Bet you that one's in it.
That one's in it?
I'll bet you. I'll bet you it is.
All right. I still feel like, that's a well-coached, senior-laden team. And I feel like that's the kind of team that wins in March Madness.
Yeah, Michigan's real good.
Oh, I get
it. Real good.
But even without Livers, you think
Don't care.
Okay, all right. Normally, that is a thing. Normally, that matters.
I'm not saying it doesn't matter. It's just I don't care. They're that much better than us.
Right. We got a lot of double-digit seeds playing into the Sweet 16. And this is the kind of tournament that I really like. I'm not shocked that Syracuse ended up beating West Virginia. We all know what Syracuse can do.
Don't always work for an Indian.
Syracuse is a dangerous team. Oregon State definitely surprises me. But again, they're one of those teams that just caught fire. And
I like to call that the Caleb Peak rule, because he had Georgetown in the Final Four. That's a thing.
Oral Roberts came out of nowhere, though. I'll be honest with you. I sold old Oral Bob short.
I will say this. The power of prayer has been underestimated in this tournament. Yeah. There are a shitload of religious schools that are going deep in this tournament, which makes me really nervous that maybe we missed that 2020 thing and it's actually 2021.
I was pulling hard for Iona, but they couldn't make it happen. Old Ricky Pitino.
Anybody else?
That would have been the 15 that I had.
By the way, anybody else see the irony that Rick Pitino coaches at a religious school? Anybody? Nobody? Okay.
Well, he's a good Catholic boy.
Yeah. Me too.
Serves the cloth well.
Me too. Rick Pitino coaching at Iona would be like me coaching at Liberty.
Oh.
There's something about that schematically that just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
Okay.
Stephen Towse said Oral Roberts has beaten Ohio State more times than Jim Harbaugh has.
That was one of my favorite tweets
wrong.
over the weekend. I saw that tweeted out over the weekend. That was one of the best lines of the tournament so far.
All right, so we've talked about basketball. And now
are we
time.
done? Are we done?
100%. Yeah, because I want to yell at you.
Sure.
I want to yell at you aggressively.
What are you yelling at me for?
Because some of your takes on free agency were insane to me.
Well, I'm sure they were. Let's just what was the worst thing I said?
That you were all about Bud Dupree signing with the Tennessee Titans.
Sure.
And it's one of the dumbest moves I've ever seen.
Sure, it fills a need for that defense.
And he's going to be double teamed on every play. On any passing play, you double team Bud Dupree. That's one of those deals that 2 years from now you're going to go, what the fuck did you see in that guy?
Okay.
All right, let me ask you a question. What team did the best in free agency?
What team?
I didn't hear you say this, but I started hearing you were trending in a pattern. And I'm just curious to see if you'll say it with me sitting here.
I was trending in a pattern. The best?
The team that improved the most in free agency was the...
I don't know if improved the most. It might be the Patriots.
That's who I thought
It might be the Patriots.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard you say.
I knew you were going to bash everything they did.
That we've been doing this together. I've heard you say some dumb shit. And you've heard me say some dumb shit.
Right.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard you say.
Okay.
I didn't like not one move they made. Not one. I was literally sitting on the bench drunk as hell just going, am I doing this? Am I willing this into existence? Because that's the only thing that makes any sense.
Okay.
Matthew Judon, fine player. Mm-hmm. He's fine. Mm-hmm. You overpaid him by a lot. And you know why you overpaid him? Because you had to. Straight up. The Baltimore Ravens looked at Matthew Judon 2 separate times and said, not committing to you long term. You know why? Because he's not actually that good of a pass rusher. He's not.
Okay.
I look at the receiver moves for New England are comically bad. Mm-hmm. Cool. So you gave Cam Newton, who's the most inaccurate fucker in the history of the NFL, you gave him 2 little fella receivers. Just weren't no bigger than a squirrel. And they got more money than Juju Smith-Schuster. Really? That's brilliant. Brilliant. And it's not even like I can defend it like I can defend Corey Davis, because Corey Davis is a really good blocker. Mm-hmm. I got a lot of people that said, oh, look, you overpaid Corey Davis. No, we didn't. And did you see the Galladay deal? Yeah, he got $1 bajillion. Mm-hmm. You know why? Because he's a legitimate all-around receiver. Juju's not. Juju's a crazy person with a TikTok. And Will Fuller has hamstrings that blow out when he blows his nose. And I can keep doing this with all the receivers of, this guy only got 6, but yeah, because he's not that good. Straight up, because he's not that good. Feels good to be back in my chair. This is where I'm supposed to be.
So you didn't like one thing that they did. Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith, you don't care?
Let's play a fun game.
Cam Newton's pretty good with his tight ends.
Was good with tight ends.
Okay.
Name me the high-end tight end free agent signing that's worked in the last 10 years.
Ooh.
Name me one. I'll give you a hint.
Jimmy Graham.
There isn't one.
Jimmy Graham? I don't know.
In terms of tight ends that get more than $10 million a year, their AV has never broken 10 over the life of the contract. If you don't know what that means, that's number of games that you're basically a net positive.
Okay.
That gets pushed up if you have a game where you would be better than the average player in the NFL. I don't see a snowball's chance in hell of that working. So here was my problem with the 2 tight ends. All right, you brought in Jonnu Smith. Sweet. How does Jonnu Smith work? Why does it work? Why did it work with Ryan Tannehill?
Play action.
Mm-hmm. Cam Newton can't throw on the run anymore. He can't. He's inaccurate as fuck. And the thing about Jonnu Smith is that Ryan Tannehill's pretty bright. You know, for all the shit that I throw at Ryan Tannehill, he's a pretty smart cat. Mm-hmm. They had a really good rapport. And so Jonnu would sit down in the middle of zones and things like that. You know what Cam Newton's never been able to do? Get on track with a receiver like that. Oh, and Hunter Henry, probably now the most overpaid tight end in the league. Mm-hmm. He gets hurt every year of his life. Oh, but he's so good when he's on the field. Yeah, but he's never on the field. And he's going from L.A. to Foxborough. You think it's going to get better. You go from playing in 72 and sunny to Boston in November. Mm-hmm. You think that's going to get better. Mm-hmm. I see the logic. I do. New England spent more money before free agency started. They committed more guaranteed money before the shit even started than any team has ever committed, save one. And it was the Jacksonville Jaguars. I hated it all. I laughed. I mean, this is the most lipstick on a pig shit I've ever seen in my life.
All right.
I mean, at the end of the day, you can do all these things. Oh, cool, we got Trent Brown, and we brought David Andrews back, and now we got tight ends. Cool, you still don't have your receivers. You're still bad at receiver. And you still have Cam Newton playing quarterback. So cool, you have just guaranteed you'll be 7-9, 8-8, 9-7 for the next 2 or 3 years. Sweet. So you'll be just good enough to not get a legitimate quarterback. And now you're broke. Broke as a headless hooker.
All right, who do you think improved the most?
I really liked what the Washington football team did.
I did too.
William Jackson and Curtis Samuel were two of my favorite signings of the free agency period. And I look at that team now with Ryan Fitzpatrick, and I'm going to be really honest with you. Curtis Samuel and Terry McLaurin being thrown to by Ryan Fitzpatrick is enough to take Patrick Holt 6 to midnight. And if it's not, he's doing it wrong. That is our resident Washington football team fan. I have messaged him twice, and he has yet to confirm that he was full 6 to midnight. So in the comments, I need him to do that right now. That is an exciting. Think about how fast this team is now. They have 3 guys that are high-end skill position players: Samuel, McLaurin, Antonio Gibson. Do you realize Antonio Gibson's the slowest one of those 3 by a lot? And he's still an electric guy, the player with the ball in his hand. I look at Washington now and go, if I pulled for a team in the NFC East, I would be really pissed off that we've allowed a team with no quarterback to bring in the ultimate gap quarterback. And now your offense is legitimate and your defense is terrifying.
Yeah. You think Fitzpatrick's the starter there over Heineke?
Yes, no doubt. That's how you got him. He wouldn't have come back for his age 38 season to sit behind Taylor Heineke. Taylor Heineke's going to be sitting on the bench drinking a Heineken. And that's fine. I never thought that they would do something like that.
Right.
I thought they would either go young or they would do something stupid. Didn't know what, but Ryan Fitzpatrick makes all the sense in the world.
They brought in a guy who can run it for one more year. Now, this is where it confused me, was with Heineke, do they believe in him that much that they're going to test him out as the future?
No, and they didn't pay him that way.
Oh, I know they didn't.
And they paid him. They paid him like a pretty good backup, and I'm fine with that.
Okay.
I look at the Buffalo Bills. I like what Buffalo did.
Okay.
Nothing splashy, nothing over the top. I hate that they cut John Brown. I think that was stupid as hell. And bringing in Emmanuel Sanders, dumb. Don't do that. Don't do that. You have a receiver that's better than him right now. His name's Gabriel Davis. Just let him go. Let him go. But I do like the fact they brought in Mitch Trubisky for a bag of nickels.
That was great. I thought that was one of the most unheralded moves of the offseason.
I would agree.
Was that they bring him in because that offense doesn't really skip a beat if something happens to Josh Allen. I think Mitch is it would skip a beat. He's a great insurance policy to have.
It would skip a beat. It would skip a lot of beats.
Yeah.
But it's a hell of a lot better than Matt Barkley.
Right. What I'm saying is the playbook doesn't have to change. You can still sort of run the same playbook.
You can, because he's still good. And it's not like you have to. He's mobile as well. By the way, the Arizona Cardinals are pretty fucking good. I heard you say something about, you were talking shit about my best team in the NFC. Well, guess what? They're now either the best or second best team in the NFC West, and it's not debatable to me. If you look at Seattle and think they're better than this Cardinals team, I have a bridge to sell you. And I think the exact same thing about the San Francisco 49ers. Rams, we can talk about that. Deshaun Jackson, that sounds real good, but it's not. Cute. He'll play 5 games and then he'll die, which is what he does. Deshaun Jackson's was injury prone in his 20s. What do you think is going to happen in his 30s? And that's fine. I have no problem with that. Deshaun Jackson's a guy that will play 10 snaps a game. And his whole objective is to get over the top, because they have a young version of him, and his name is Van Jefferson, who I am a big fan of. And I'll tell you, I really, it's going to pain me. I almost don't want to say this out loud. The Cleveland Browns.
Oh, daddy.
That hurt.
That was okay.
That hurt my life.
That made me feel so much better, because I thought we were going to have to fight about that.
That hurt my life.
I agree. The Cleveland Browns, to me, have done a great job of bringing in. I mean, to me, the defense becomes even more fearsome.
Well, they have a legitimate secondary now.
Right. With
So now
Troy
it's
Hill
not
and John
Denzel
Johnson.
Ward.
Right.
It's not, hey, Denzel Ward has to be healthy or we're going to pick on whoever's filling in for him.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have, and here's the thing. You're talking about John Johnson. I'm not. I like that deal.
You're talking about Troy?
I'm talking about Troy Hill.
Okay.
I like the John Johnson deal, and he's incredibly smart, and he's going to keep that defense churning. Great with that. The one nobody's talking about is Troy Hill, and I'm drunk on it. I think it was and you got him for $6 million a year. He's a legitimate second corner. Abso-fucking-lutely.
But still, it keeps them, what? They're still in kind of that mid-tier of the AFC, right?
Cleveland?
Yeah.
Again, I don't want to say this out loud, and it's going to hurt me to say.
We're going close up.
If you told me that I had to pick 3 teams in the AFC that were legitimate Super Bowl contenders, Buffalo and Kansas City are 1 and 2. That third spot's either Cleveland or the Indianapolis Colts. And I don't know which one it is. It's one or the other. But that's the 4. If you give me a 4th one, I can tell you exactly who it is. It's whoever I didn't pick at 3.
Right. I just love the fact that you have to say that.
It hurt. It hurt. I didn't like it.
Even with Baker Mayfield at quarterback.
I don't even like breakfast.
This is a good team. It's a good team on paper.
Who's the dumbest team?
And they get Grant Delpit back, and I know you don't like Grant Delpit.
No, I don't. No, that's like saying, look, we bought this beautiful new house, and we have an air freshener. We have that going for us. That's cool. Who's the dumbest team in the NFL? It's not close.
Dumbest team.
Actually, that's a lie. There's 2 correct answers here. I will accept either one.
Dumbest team in the NFL is Houston Texans.
And then?
And then
If you don't get this right, I'm going to yell at you.
Tennessee Titans?
Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Brian, put the
All that money.
right here. I want this on record. This Urban Meyer thing is going to be a fucking disaster. This is going to make the old ball coach look like Vince Lombardi. Urban Meyer may never win more than 4 games in the NFL. And I'm looking at Trevor Lawrence going, what are the chances you can find a way to get to the Jets? Because this is going to suck for you. I've hated every deal they've done.
Every one.
All of them.
Shaq Griffin.
All of them. That's too much money. He's not that good.
Okay.
He's not a $15 million a year corner.
Rayshawn Jenkins.
What is it about him that everybody's just so fucking plastered on? It's like Rayshawn. First of all, probably 80% of NFL fans didn't know who the fuck Rayshawn Jenkins was. And then all of a sudden, this was the greatest signing ever. They got him for like $1 million less a year than John Johnson. Really? And that's what you're hanging your hat on? He was fine in saying it with the Chargers? Do you know who the corners were in LA last year? There's a lot of Chris Harris, Casey Hayward. That's markedly better than Shaq Griffin and, his name's out of my head. C.J. Anderson. There we go.
Yeah.
Took me a minute. I always want to. Is that? It's C.J.
C.J. Henderson. Yeah, you're right.
There's another. There's names that are. It's draft season. If you're not in this draft, I don't know your fucking name anymore. Speaking of which, we have a ton of draft content coming in the next 6 weeks.
Yes.
All kinds of it. I have funny name shit that I came up with on the beach.
Funny name shit.
Yeah, you think 6 to Midnight was good? Hey, y'all watch it.
And of course, like and subscribe to the channel. You'll know every time we put out some content that way.
Stephen Tao said, I'm detoxing. I need an IV and a doctor. Something's wrong. I'm talking kindly of the Browns. By the way, I will say this. Something new I discovered. If you're a degenerate alkie like me. Liquid IV. That's tremendous. That doesn't suck at all. I don't know what it is, and it tastes like shit, but it makes you feel way better.
Oh, yeah.
Way better.
Interesting.
Look it up.
Okay. I don't know where to go with that. Marvin Jones. Come on, man. Marvin Jones, he's still 48 years old and doing stuff.
Mm-hmm. Marvin Jones got $500,000 a year less than Juju Smith-Schuster got. I want you to think about what I just said. It's just laughably bad to me. I'll tell you another team that I really like what they did, the Kansas City Chiefs. I think they're printing money. I have determined the salary cap does not mean shit anymore. The salary cap is now irrelevant. By the way, before this is all said and done, before this week is up, I am going to do a video on this channel explaining the salary cap because I watched you try to explain it, and I was tangibly yelling at my tablet like, "You still have it wrong!"
Oh, okay.
You got into a thing about the voidable years, and I'm like, I've explained this so many times, and you still just don't get it. And you keep saying things that are wrong, and it makes me angry. I was in the comments like, I need you to look at me. Nobody puts baby in the corner.
So what was it about the voidable years that I got wrong?
I don't remember exactly what you said because I've been drunk 14 times since you said it.
Oh, my shit.
But you had it wrong of how the money was moved and how it doesn't matter. No, it does matter. It 100% matters. You're going to kick this can down the road to the point of it's going to catch up to you eventually. Kansas City, and I'll give you a perfect example with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay.
The Thuney deal.
Yeah.
And I understand people keep telling me it's Joe Tooney. Then take the fucking H out. If you want me to pronounce your name away, spell it right. Yeah, I'll tell you you're spelling your name wrong. I don't care. I've always thought my name's spelled wrong. There should not be an E on the end of my name. That's dumb. But here we are. There's a color spelled the exact same way. I don't need the E. And no matter what I say, people always spell it wrong. So they look at this and they have a 3-year window. That's the way Kansas City is looking at this. Yep. We have a 3-year window before we have to blow this up. Mm-hmm. And we're going to be paying Pat Mahomes $1 bajillion at that point. But the dynasty talk? No. That's not going to happen. Because you can't pay a quarterback like that.
There's no way they're going to be able to keep the band together.
They won't be able to keep the band together. That's one problem. The other problem is that you're going to have these constantly churning parts. Mm-hmm. Because now you have a top 5 in the league. Oh.
Yep, that was you.
That's me. I forgot to. I've been on vacation.
Stop unpair your phone, please.
I might have forgot to turn my phone off.
Who calls you in the middle of the show? You know we do this every day.
I don't know. Probably a telemarketer.
Probably.
Was it a telemarketer, Brad? It was a telemarketer.
Screw those guys.
Did you turn the speaker off at least?
I don't know your code.
I meant the speaker.
Just the speaker. Yeah, so the speaker doesn't.
There we go.
Yeah, let's make sure that doesn't happen.
That was fun.
We're doing things.
I heard the Batman shit and went, uh-oh.
But Joe Tooney, how does that work? How's that deal working?
So a lot of people look at the numbers.
Yep.
All right, so you see 5 years, what was it, 5 years at 80? Mm-hmm. Isn't that what he got?
Yeah.
And a lot of people see the 80 and they lose their shit about the 80. The 80 doesn't mean anything. The 80 is not guaranteed. Mm-hmm. The only number that you have to look at with a deal is the guaranteed money, because that is what that team is going to pay, no matter what. Period.
Okay. All right.
You can get out of the rest of it. Now, as time goes on and base salary is paid, you obviously can't unpay it. But seeing 5 years at 80, I feel like a lot of people went, well, they don't have any cap space. Oh, they don't have to. Mm-hmm. They can kick the can down the road. Mm-hmm. And that's where you're at. And now you have a series of teams that are doing that. Mm-hmm. And what I have to give credit to teams like the Jets, the Colts, the Dolphins seem to be doing a pretty good job of this. And again, I can't believe I'm saying this, the Cleveland Browns. The teams that are doing this, that are kicking that can down the road, you're going to be bad.
Yeah.
Your team, one of those teams.
Yep.
And the other teams are going, well, everybody else is doing this, so we're going to go this way. And everybody will say, I like what the Jets did because I'm a Jets homer. No, I'm not. They signed a bunch of former first-round picks that they think they can get the most out of. But they also are not hung up on any of these deals. They can pay every one of these guys for a year and then get the hell out of it, except Corey Davis. Even Carl Lawson, who I love, you can get out of it after a year if you needed to. It would hurt, but you could do it.
Right.
But I see all these other deals where you're having to play this shell game of, oh, well, now we're paying base salary and all that.
Yeah.
No. We haven't done this way for eons. And if I have one more person tell me, oh, we've never done these voidable years before, yeah, we have. Tom Brady's been doing them since the beginning of time. Mm-hmm. That's why he made $20-some-odd million from the New England Patriots last year. Because eventually, you run out of time. And that guy goes somewhere else and the contract expires.
But the teams that are doing this, they're all the teams that are competitive now.
You would be shocked. It's really not.
Really?
Jacksonville has done a terrible job of this.
Have they? I mean, obviously a lot of my focus is on Tampa Bay. You got Tampa Bay, you got Kansas City, you got a lot of teams that are all in right now to try to figure out how to make this thing work. Just for the next couple of years, at least. Now, Kansas City's in a different position. Tampa, I completely understand. To me, if there's one team that should be doing this, is Tampa.
100%.
You've got two teams. You got 2 more years with Tom Brady. This is your window. The window doesn't extend beyond this.
And the thing you have to remember,
Kansas City's a different story because their window is 10 years from now.
No, it's not.
I mean,
no, it's not.
You'd like to think it was.
It's not, and they know it's not. Mm-hmm. They know they're going to be legitimately great at quarterback forever.
Right.
You have to strike while the iron's hot. There's a lot of things that can happen. And I mean, look, and I'm not wishing ill on Pat Mahomes or anything like that. Mm-hmm. You've committed your franchise to Pat Mahomes. If he determines he wants to go wax surfboards next week, then you're fucked by the fickle finger of fate. Mm-hmm. And they know that. So it's strike while the iron's hot. We'll figure this out. We'll move the pieces. We'll do all the things. Well, eventually you're going to get got. Eventually it's going to happen. And the salary cap's not going to escalate at the rate that everybody thinks it is. In spite of the fact they just signed a television deal for about $100 gajillion.
Yeah. Right.
The new NFL TV deal is it's exactly 716 shitloads. That's what the deal was. It's actually in the contract. I saw it.
Oh, that's
It's 130 billion?
110 billion.
110 billion.
Yeah. And they added a new revenue stream. It was so funny to me. There was a chart that I think NFL.com put out that showed what the deal was last time and what it is this time. Mm-hmm. And then there was this one at the bottom that just said Amazon, and it didn't exist. There was just a hole in the chart. Like, hey, we found a new way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what they do. Mm-hmm. That's what the NFL does. Mm-hmm. And that's why it's king, and that's why we talk about it during the NCAA tournament. That's why we spend 30 minutes on the NFL and 20 minutes on the NCAA tournament in the middle of March.
Right.
You want to know why all of our look at the views on shit we do. We do a random video on the LA Raiders that gets 2,000 views in a day.
Right.
I could literally hand you no doubt lead pipe lock NCAA basketball picks that'd get 100. Mm-hmm. I do a show called Bet Your House, and it doesn't get the level of views that an LA Rams preview gets. Which is the reason we're going to steer into that skid.
Yeah, it is. It is kind of baffling, but you like what your team has done.
I do.
I like what my team has done.
Your team just looked at everybody and went, "Let's just all come back."
Yeah, come on back now.
And why not? Again, 2 years. You got a 2-year window here, and you're all in. I liked Denver. Denver's offseason.
That's one I actually almost said Denver.
Denver's done a lot this offseason just to maintain their core group of guys.
But they made one boo-boo that I don't understand.
What is that? Extending
Philip
Von
Lindsay.
Miller?
I don't understand why you got Philip Lindsay's a good player. Mm-hmm. I hate that he went to the Siberia of the NFL, which is the Houston Texans, right, who apparently need 17 running backs to run whatever it is they're planning on doing. Mm-hmm. I almost said something real fucked up. I did do it, and I'm real proud.
Please don't. This is the one thing that I've been dreading since you got back.
What? That I was going to make a joke that they signed Mark Ingram just so Deshaun Watson didn't have to get massages from other places anymore.
That's the one.
Is that what I did? Did I do a bad thing?
That was the one.
Look, I'm not talking about that. I'll make jokes because I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't understand what's happening there, but I will tell you this right now, it's bad for Deshaun Watson.
Absolutely.
It is a bad time to be Deshaun Watson.
And that was why my answer to your question of who are the worst franchises or dumbest franchises, it's the Houston Texans.
Yeah. And by the way, if I have to hear one more time that this Deshaun Watson thing is a conspiracy from the Houston Texans, please get out of your mother's basement, take off your tinfoil hat, and get a fucking job. Lord have mercy. I mean, I understand Jack Easterby was following people. If you're that out of your mind, I don't really know how to help you.
When it was 1, I was willing to consider that possibility. Now it's out of my hands. No, it's up to 12.
It was at 12, and there's 10 more coming.
It's up to 12.
I mean, we're officially at the point of, I don't know what happens in a room between 2 consenting adults, and I have made it a habit of
not wanting to know.
Yeah, it's not even not wanting to know. I'm not going to speculate on what happened behind a closed door that I wasn't behind.
Right.
Doesn't make any sense to me. But I think we're to a point where we can go, Deshaun's probably a little bit of a weird dude.
Mm-hmm.
I'll let the legal process play out on that because I'm not a lawyer and I'm not a judge. But yeah, we got to. Something's weird.
Yeah.
Something's weird.
And the Houston Texans are shit out of luck because now nobody's going to touch him.
No. And I will say this. This is a very small part of this, but it has thrown the quarterback carousel into a fun little pattern. Because now you look at a team like the Jets, and they're looking at Darnold going, this is the best we can do.
Yeah.
Like, we have to auction off because now the second pick is the most valuable asset in the NFL. I phrase that poorly. It's the most valuable, attainable asset in the NFL. I mean, tell me what would be more so. What's more valuable right now than the second pick in this draft? You know you're not getting one from Jacksonville. Jacksonville's taking Trevor Lawrence, and they're going to ride off into the sunset and be 4-12 for the next 10 years.
Right.
But at 2, you have a cost-controlled quarterback that you can have for the rest of eternity. And I just have this funny feeling that Joe Douglas is, between the Deshaun Watson thing and everything else, he just goes, I can ask for whatever I want.
Yeah.
I can literally say any number and somebody will pay it.
And the Carolina Panthers are the first ones that come to my mind of wanting to move up to 8 or move up to 2.
Carolina's the team I've heard a lot. There's also a part of me that thinks Carolina thinks they can get who they want at 8.
At 8. Sit around and wait for Mac Jones. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting time. A lot of shit happened while I was at the beach.
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
Including my face getting completely torture burnt. You want to see, since that's on me, you want to see something fun?
Oh, no.
Do you see that sweet white line?
Oh,
that hat line?
sweet Jesus.
Yeah, it's good.
That's sort of
It's
side
good.
mullet, though.
It's
Wow.
good. Side mullet. Hashtag side mullet.
Every now and then you should take the hat off. at the
Yeah,
beach.
here's the thing. You don't think about that when you're 9 natty lights deep. We met a bachelor party in Tybee. Wasn't my choice. We still had plenty of Wicked Weed beers. Don't get me wrong, but you run out of those quick when there's 11 of you.
Between the bro tan and the new mullet, I don't know what to do with you anymore.
You know, it's good. It's good time.
It's
Good
just
time.
dead sexy. Oh my God.
Good time. Good time had by all. I will be honest with you. I don't hate anything in life as much as my wife hates my hair.
I tried to tell you.
I don't hate Baker Mayfield as much as my wife hates this.
I tried to tell you.
And it's really not all that close.
No. See, because here's the weird thing. Your wife and I, we're very similar people.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're really not. You might like to keep shit clean, but trust me, there are some very, very obvious differences.
Beside the obvious.
Oh, my wife chimed in.
Our personalities are very similar, and her reaction to it, I'm sure, was much better than mine, which was horrified.
Yeah, you want me to tell you a funny story about this? I didn't tell her about this until we were already packed and loaded to go. And I had kept my hat down like this.
no.
So she couldn't see it.
And you sprung it on her.
Yeah, it got sprung about the South Carolina line. We were at about the South Carolina line, and I went, so I did a thing. I did a thing. You're probably not going to like it. And so...
And I'm surprised she didn't force you to get it cut while you're on vacation.
That's the beauty of our relationship. We never force anybody. We never force each other to do anything. She has been aggressively hinting at her desire for me to do something. And you know what that means? Makes it way less likely that I'm gonna.
No. She's just gonna start bringing up Seth's name every time she sees you.
Yeah, Seth's my barber.
Have you called
who, by
Seth?
the way, lived in Savannah for many years, which is where I was.
Which is where he learned how to do that to your head.
And he went, you're going to Savannah for St. Patrick's Day? Kenny Powers.
Oh, God.
Here we go. Never stop partying. Whew. Business in the front, party in the rear.
It is horrific, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little bit jealous.
I heard that a lot, actually. You know what I learned about mullets? Here's what I didn't think we'd talk about today. Here's what I learned about mullets. Dudes think they're hilarious.
Yes.
Women don't.
Nope.
Nope. I posted a picture drinking a Wicked Weed beer at the crest of the ocean the day I got there. Yeah. Got like 80 likes on Facebook. 4 of them were women. And I went, I get it. I get it now. Dudes think this is funny. Not so much anybody else.
Nope.
Oh, well. You live, you learn.
Any other surprises in free agency for you?
Surprises? The Raiders are out of their fucking minds.
Okay.
The Raiders had the best signing of free agency, and then it just spiraled into shit. Signing Kenyon Drake is maybe the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And they think he's a jack of all trades. You have Josh Jacobs. Let him go.
But he's not a pass catcher. We think Kenyon Drake's a pass catcher.
He can be. Just let him do it.
This is your fantasy football team talking, right?
No, this is me loving Josh Jacobs. He's one of my favorite running backs in the league. By the way, another team that we haven't talked about that's done tremendously wonderful things.
Oh, let me see if I can guess. The Cincinnati Bengals.
No.
Oh.
I actually hate what the Bengals did, but that's just me.
No.
Brian thinks I'm going to say the New York Giants.
That's cute.
And you know what? I don't hate what the Giants have done. Now Daniel Jones has absolutely no reason to say. You can't say you don't have weapons.
Right.
Because now you have really legitimate weapons. You have 2 tight ends. I don't really know what you're planning on doing with Evan Ingram. That's the one thing that makes me nervous here. Yeah, but when he does catch it, he's real good at doing stuff with it.
You like that? You like the Kyle Rudolph signing?
Yeah, because he can block.
Okay.
I like having a tight end that can block. I'm okay with tight ends that can't block. You just need one that, can.
Can.
That's kind of important. Okay. No, the team I was talking about is the LA Chargers.
Yes.
Corey Linsley and Matt Filer. Yeah. Buddy, Austin Eckler. Can you hear me? What it do? And, I mean, Justin Herbert has to be looking at this going, it's good.
They did, however, replace Hunter Henry with Jared Cook, and I know you're not a Jared Cook fan.
And you know what? The difference in talent is just a little bit.
You think so?
I do.
Okay, all right.
It's just a little bit.
I think it's a little
They're
more.
both touchdown-dependent tight ends. That's what they are.
Right.
Hunter Henry is a fine player. By the way, don't be shocked if the Chargers take another tight end. Don't be shocked if in the draft, because there's several really good tight ends in this draft.
Pat Freiermuth.
Maybe. That's a possibility. I've always liked Hunter Long to the Chargers. It's long been one of those pairings that
you're drunk on him.
Drunk on. By the way, is Isaiah Wilson the biggest dumpster fire in the history of time?
What did he do now?
He got
cut. He got cut by the Dolphins. He lasted 4 days. Yeah, wow. That's the worst first-round pick in NFL history. Oh, if you hadn't heard this, maybe other people haven't heard it.
I haven't.
I'll disclose what happened. So Isaiah Wilson gets traded to the Dolphins.
Yeah.
This is a guy that was first-round pick a year ago. Do you know what the compensation was?
No.
That scared the fuck out of me. I audibly jumped on camera and I had to explain why.
You did.
The Dolphins gave up a 2021 seventh-round pick, and they got back a 2022 seventh-round pick, and Isaiah Wilson. So they say, cool, a rehab project. We liked you coming out. We need you to show up for your physical at 10 a.m. And he showed up at 2. Oh, it gets better. I'm not done yet.
Okay.
Then they said, we have these optional workouts that we would really like you to be a part of. And he said, yeah, I'll be there for the one on Thursday. He wasn't there for the one on Thursday.
Oh, no.
Then he said, I'll be there for the one on Friday. He wasn't there for the one on Friday. And On the same day, at the same time that he skipped an optional workout, a video comes out of him standing on a truck, shirtless, smoking a vape.
Oh, wonderful.
Are you trying to get cut?
Yes.
Like, is that your objective? I mean, there have been a lot of dumpster fires in the history of the NFL. This dude's taking the cake. And I'm going to be really honest with you. I went back and looked at my draft profile for him, and I think I said this on the show.
Yeah.
The first word was immature.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. There it is. There it is.
What possesses a person to go, you know what, I have the future in front of me and I'm just not going to do it?
Nope.
I can't stand these people. I mean, I think we all know people like this, right? We all have people in our lives where we look at them and go, you have some potential in you, but you just don't give a fuck.
Nope.
And
don't care. Don't care.
It's unbelievable to me to think that not only did a team think so much of you to draft you in the first round, and then a second team says, you know what, maybe we got a shot at making you into something, and you just don't give a fuck.
Nope. Can't be bothered to care.
Right. Like, what are your other options? Like, I'm surprised somebody hasn't sat him in a room and said, dude, where's your path? What's next for you? If you're not going to do this thing that wants to, set you up for life, and you can't even bother to show up for a workout, what's the next thing going to happen?
I'll be really honest with you. I think I saw Isaiah Wilson on a boat passing us in the
like, you probably did.
Hey, aren't you supposed to be with the Dolphins? And he went, Jaeger bomb! Mullet guy!
It's absolutely insane to me.
See, it's okay for me to be a lunatic, crazy person that just, does Red Bull and vodka on a boat on a Friday. I'm not in the NFL. My body is not a temple. My body is a modern medical marvel, but it's not a temple.
It's not. It's more like a petri dish.
Yeah. That's not exactly what I was going to say. I'm one of the only people that I've ever known that has had a doctor look at him and go, how are you alive?
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I got a strong sensibility about me, I guess.
You and Keith Richards are hanging in there.
Right. I'm going to be like Keith Richards. You're going to see me at 80 and go, holy shit. Yeah, did he die in his 60s? How's he still talking?
All leathery.
What did you think about Aaron Jones going back to Green Bay? Do you think they overpaid?
That makes all the sense in the world. No.
Okay.
No, I don't.
I mean, they because he gets one of these voidable year deals as well.
I mean,
and they're paying him $12 million, I think, for this year.
Yeah.
But after that, I think that there's an out there for him.
Well, I mean, and they're not going to. That's one of those deals that they're not going to chase the out. Mm-hmm. But I mean, that's what the fair market value was. We did a where will free agents land? I had Aaron Jones at 4 years and $40 million.
Yep.
So I missed it by $8 million, and I'm probably right on what he actually sees.
Right.
That is the one takeaway I had. By God, I missed a lot of where players would land. Mm-hmm. By God, I had the contracts down to a damn T. I hit 4 of them on the nose, right?
On the money?
On the money. I mean, nice. I'm dead on. Years, money, everything.
Nice.
Yeah. Pass rushers. I put them all to the wrong teams. We played the shell game, and the ball was under the wrong shell. But,
Did Anthony Harris sign somewhere?
Philadelphia.
1
year, $5 million.
Okay. Well, that's the last one.
You want to know why? You want to know why players don't? By the way, the Cowboys signed Keanu Neal instead of Anthony Harris, and I'll be honest with you, I think I like that better.
Okay.
You want to know why players don't want to play on franchise tag? Look at Anthony Harris. He was paid as a top 5 safety last year. He had to sign a 1-year prove-it deal with the Philadelphia Eagles, who are going to be terrible. Mm-hmm. That's why. Everybody, you're paid millions of dollars to play a game. Okay. This is a guy that when his knees give out, he doesn't have an ability to make money anymore. You put him on a franchise tag for a year, and I bet he really wishes he'd gotten about a 5-year deal last year. Mm-hmm. That's why players say, no, I'm not doing this franchise tag bullshit. It's one of those things that fans say that really gets on my nerves. Because there's about 50 examples of exactly the same thing. Mm-hmm. But they get locked in on Dak Prescott. Dak's going to get his money regardless. A guy like Anthony Harris may not. Anthony Harris may never make more than $5 million in a year for the rest of his life. There's a big difference there. A big damn difference.
Of the available free agents left, is there anyone of consequence?
I mean, there's a lot of guys of consequence. I mean, if you're asking for who I'm particularly fond of.
I mean, like the offensive lineman, for one.
Such as?
I'm shocked that we don't know what Villanueva's going to do.
He's going to go back to Pittsburgh. Same thing I've said he was going to do the whole time. I mean, he could sign a deal with, say, the Rams or somebody like that, but he's just never struck me as that kind of guy. He seems like a very loyal, very team-first kind of guy. And that would be my belief. In terms of free agents that are left, looking at my top, there's none of my top 20 left.
Nope.
There's none of my top, there's one of my top 30 left. And that's a Dory Jackson. I mean, yeah, it's just a bunch of dudes. I mean, there's a lot of guys that are going to get one-year prove-it deals. Guys like Quan Williams and Malik Hooker's a guy I like a lot. That's a guy that I haven't heard much of. The safety market and the wide receiver market just never really developed. And there's a real, very simple reason for that. What two things have I told you are really strong in this draft class? Wide receiver and safety. Safeties. Free agency is comical to me. That people miss this every year. The receivers are so great. Well, they are, but they all have a yeah, but. Juju Smith-Schuster's a head case. Will Fuller couldn't stay healthy if he slept in a coffin. And there's a knock on all of these guys.
Right.
A guy like Quentin Dunbar, that's a guy that I think could be a high impact signing. You know, things obviously went a little sideways last year. But we don't know how much of that's actually true. It does sound like that was the shakedown that he said it was. He's still a talented player. But other than that, I mean, now you're to this is where you get value signings. Because you don't have a lot of teams that have a lot of money left. I am really curious to see where Jadeveon Clowney goes. That's the one guy I'm looking at going.
And for how much?
It's not going to be as much as you think.
No, that's the point.
He missed the money again.
6?
No, it'll be more than that. I would say it's in the 9 to 10 range.
Okay.
Maybe 8 to 10 range. And I'm gonna level with you. I could see it being the Jets. I could. Salah wants to have interchangeable pieces. That's why he signed Sheldon Rankins yesterday. I could see it. It just makes so much sense. And he's an interchangeable piece. He's not a high-end pass rusher. It's a myth. It's like the myth that Kenny Galladay's injury prone. No, he's not.
He's not?
No.
I mean, what?
No.
No. He feels like he's missed a lot of games in the last couple of years.
Okay. He was. How many games has he missed that he was supposed to play in his career?
That he was supposed to play? What does that mean?
His rookie year, he was not high on the depth chart.
Okay.
And so he was a healthy scratch for a couple games as a rookie.
Okay.
So take those out.
Okay.
He played 15 games in 2018, 16 in 2019, and could have come back with 6 weeks to go last year, and the Lions shut him down. Where's the injury prone in that? He's missed 1 game before this year. That's it. Okay. I laugh at the injury prone thing. Injury prone means you got hurt last year. That's it. That's what that means in the NFL now.
Right.
Oh, he's hurt all the time. Oh, you mean he never had been, but he was last year? Cool. Injury prone. I'm going to call that Carson Wincing from here on out.
Carson Wincing.
That's one that's constantly, he's injury prone. No, he was hurt once. He was legitimately hurt 1 time, and he's been bad a couple other times.
Right. The Deshaun Watson thing obviously has thrown a wrench into everybody. Everybody's still trying to talk about Russell Wilson and that thing. They're trying. It's almost like it's it's now taken the place. And nobody wants to talk about Deshaun Watson anymore, so now let's talk about how we can make the Russell
Well, nobody wants to talk
Wilson
about Deshaun Watson because we don't know what to say.
Oh, exactly.
And I don't know. It escalates every day.
Because it ended. Because for most people, it's over now.
Oh, it's certainly over now.
I mean, there's no way. That's untouchable. No one's going to be able to. No one's going to tie their franchise to that while that's going on. So the Houston Texans, they're stuck with Deshaun Watson for good or bad, whatever. That's his home now. We're moving on. But we've got to have something else. Something bigger has to happen. And so now Russell Wilson seems to be the focus of all of that. I still maintain I don't think anything's going to happen. Has your mind changed on that?
With Russell Wilson
moving anywhere?
I don't know. I still look at the NFL, and this is, we've taken out some pieces. So we said this was like a game of musical chairs. Well, now we've taken out some of the players, and we still have as many chairs. I mean, I look at several teams and go, I don't know what you're going to do at quarterback. I mean, the Bears settled on Andy Dalton. Oh my God. I loved how egotistical he was, too. They told me I'm the
starter.
I'm the man.
Well, of course they did.
Okay, then.
You disagree?
I don't. I'm not an Andy Dalton guy. I'm just not. Andy Dalton is the ham sandwich of the NFL. It will keep you alive. That is about the best I can say for it. He is a living, breathing NFL quarterback.
It'll keep you alive, but it won't keep your job.
Yeah, they're gone.
Yeah, they're gone. I mean, Chicago's front office is gone.
You know what? One of the things that I thought about, as I was sitting on the beach, drinking cocktails.
Yeah, keep rubbing it in.
I couldn't help but think, how did the Chicago front office react when Andy Dalton called and said, "Yep, I'll take your deal"? Like, did they high five each other? Yeah. Like, fuck yeah, Andy Dalton! Woo! Super Bowl! Or did they just look at each other and go, "We're so fucked"?
I feel like that's a memo that you send to the boss, like at midnight, hoping that he doesn't see it till tomorrow morning. Like, we just signed Andy Dalton. End. And then send that and just see where it goes. Because the shitstorm would be coming if it were me. If I'm the owner of that franchise and I see that deal go down, what the fuck are y'all thinking would be my answer.
I just would kill. See, this is like the NFL reality show that I've always wanted that we've never gotten.
Is it Inside the Office?
Yeah. Like Ryan Pace calls down to Matt Nagy and says, I got us a quarterback. And Nagy goes, is it Russell Wilson? No. Is it Deshaun Watson? No. Are we trading up to draft a guy? No. It's Andy Dalton. And you just see Matt Nagy on the other end of the phone go, oh, fuck.
Yep.
Glad I'm renting.
That's right.
Honey, call the real estate agent.
Yeah, we're gone.
We need a house in Kansas City.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was going to
Book us an Airbnb in Kansas City for February of next year.
Yep.
We're going to need that.
Yep. Because that's exactly where he's going to crawl back to.
100%. 100%. I do have to say I would be remiss if I didn't point out that the Carolina Panthers have done good things as well. I do like Denzel Perryman. That was a guy that I talked about in the free agency previews that I really like. I like the idea of having him next to Jeremy Chin and Hassan Reddick. That's a team that is assembling pieces, and that's the thing. This is what I told Panthers fans. Stop trying to jump the line. You were bad. You were bad. Don't try to jump the line. Just keep adding pieces. You got Hassan Reddick on a good deal. You got Denzel Perryman on a prove-it deal. Just keep doing that. Keep doing that, and if you do that for long enough, eventually, you'll have the assets and the ammo to go get that last piece that you really need. Deshaun Watson is not, was not, and will not be that guy.
But Zach Wilson might be.
Could be. Zach Wilson could be that guy.
Very well maybe.
Hell, Mac Jones could be that guy. I mean, I don't necessarily believe that, but
I think Kevin Vick's going to come through the screen and strangle either one of us if we say that again.
Yeah. Hey, look, I'll be really honest with you. I can tell you definitively the Jets are looking at it going, well, it's either Sam or two, whichever one you give us more for. We're whoa.
Yeah.
And you think more than likely the number 2 pick is
I think Sam's
the
gonna be
asset that's
extended.
moved? Okay.
I could see a path where the Jets try to extend Sam Darnold this offseason. And they tie themselves to him. Salah is all in on Darnold. And I had heard that, but I thought that Joe Douglas was going to go, no, rookie scale, contract, kick the can down the road. Rob Salah has a very loud voice in that room. And so does Mike LaFleur.
As he should.
I mean, they came as a package. That's what you have to understand. When they hired Rob Salah, it was, I can have any job in the NFL that's open that I want. I want your job, but I want say. And it appears that he has say. Yeah. And it'll be Sam Darnold throwing to Corey Davis and Denzel Mims and hopefully Kyle Pitts.
Oh, boy.
Whoa.
Lastly, I think the one team that we haven't mentioned that I really liked what they did in the offseason, I already mentioned the Cincinnati Bengals, and we can have that fight later, was the San Francisco 49ers. Do you think giving Trent Williams
By the way,
$80 million was a bad idea?
By the way, just throwing this out there.
Yeah.
I don't hate what Cincinnati's done. I don't understand why you would give a bigger deal to Trey Hendrickson than you did to Carl Lawson. I like the Mike Hilton deal. I like the fact they brought in Riley Reif on a one-year prove-it deal. I'm fine with all of that. It's the Trey Hendrickson thing that doesn't make any sense to me. Now, San Francisco gave Trent Williams a boatload of money, and I don't like it. I don't like it.
You think he's going to be able to live up to it?
I think he'll be fine for a year. But really, be honest with yourself. Do you think they're a Super Bowl contender right now?
I think they're close.
I don't. I don't think they're all that close. Just only because there's so many teams that are more balanced than they are. Okay. You got to understand, losing Rob Salah and Mike LaFleur is a big damn deal. And now you've got Garoppolo, who you have basically out loud said, we're not totally sold on. You had injury issues last year, and I'm not saying this team's bad. I like the Alex Mack deal. Bringing back Juszczyk, I will never understand spending $27 million on a fullback, but he's a real good fullback. And then everything else is, I do like Emmanuel Mosley. They brought back Verrett, who had interest from other teams. The Abukum deal, I like him better than most, and I still think you overpaid for him. I'm fine with it. I don't understand giving a 33-year-old left tackle $80 million guaranteed.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense to me. Because he's not going to age well. If you look at the body type on Trent Williams, he is not going to age well. There are not a lot of Andrew Whitworths that look like a fucking building when they're 38 years old.
Right.
Trent Williams ain't going to be that guy. And I love the talent. Don't get me wrong. I was just shocked they were willing to commit that much money and that much time.
All right. I still think it's a great signing for now.
It's a great signing for now. I just don't think they're a Super Bowl team.
I think they have a window here. I mean, they've already made it to a Super Bowl. And if all those pieces stay healthy, how can they not?
You've lost a lot of those pieces. This is a team that's slowly
Who did they lose? That's the question. I mean, they lost Richard Sherman.
That one's going to hurt.
They lost Kendrick Bourne.
They're going to lose Quan Williams.
Okay.
They've lost Solomon Thomas, who was a high draft pick. They've lost DeForest Buckner, who was the biggest one of all of these. And then you just got a bunch of dudes that don't stay healthy. Deebo Samuel, I love him. Deebo's one of my favorite receivers in the NFL. He just doesn't stay healthy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to me, I look at it and go, Arizona's clearly better, in my opinion. The Rams are clearly better, in my opinion. I think the Packers, if they can add a couple weapons, are better. And I'm going to level with you. I'm not sure that I don't think the Washington football team's better. Now that they have a legitimate offense that can score points and they don't have to beat you 15-9, yeah, in. Give it to me. I know you brought it with you. And the Buccaneers. The
Buccaneers, yeah.
So that's where I'm at.
So San Francisco's probably 6 for you.
Damn, Patrick Holt just said 2 more lawsuits have been filed against Watson, and allegedly one of them happened earlier this month.
Oh, no.
It's not good. It's not good. It's not good. We're going to have to talk about this on ESPN today.
Yes, we will.
We don't have a choice.
Yes, we will.
And I have to not be as open and honest as I am on this.
Flippant.
It's not flippant. I just don't know what to say. I have no idea what to say. If this is true, he's a pig.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But I think not putting the if this is true, and it is, I think that's irresponsible. Mm-hmm. In this country, you're still innocent until proven guilty. Mm-hmm. So, people get mad at me saying that all they want to. It's the damn truth.
Right.
We say this about people that kill people. Hell, we said this about O.J. fucking Simpson. Mm-hmm. Read into that what you want to.
Right. But, I mean, we live in a world where everybody...
We live in a social media age where you're guilty until proven innocent. It's bullshit.
Yeah, but I think...
That's what due process is for. It's kind of what this country was built on.
But even more level-headed people who aren't so quick to jump out, we live in we kind of live by the civil court rules. It's preponderance of evidence. If the preponderance of evidence...
But that's not what the fucking country was built on. They were built on innocent until proven guilty. Mm-hmm. So, and somewhere along the line, we lost that. Mm-hmm. And now you get accused of something and you're immediately guilty. And he could very well be guilty. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm not a fucking judge. It's not my job in life. Mm-hmm. Just like I'm not a cop. It's not my job to go arrest people. It's my job to talk about shit, which is what I do. Mm-hmm. So, as long as I'm the one talking about it, I will continue to say if this is true and shit like that.
Oh, absolutely. And
that's no shot at the potential victims.
Right.
It's how this is supposed to go.
Right. But I'm saying the way people think, it gets to a point where you can't ignore it anymore, and you start to lean. Well, yeah, maybe he is guilty.
And that's the thing. What any of us think doesn't fucking matter.
No, it doesn't matter.
That's the reason we have a legal system.
Right. Right, where all this
and
stuff
where we
gets
lost
adjudicated.
that, I have no idea.
It's always been this way.
It hasn't. No, it hasn't. That's bullshit. That is bullshit. What you just said is total bullshit.
Okay.
In my lifetime, this has shifted. And if you can't admit that, you're lying to yourself.
What, that people get accused and immediately people believe that they're guilty? This is a long-standing thing in our country.
Not like it is now. There will be people that get pissed off that I say alleged victims. And if this is true. Because that's how it's supposed to work. Mm-hmm. That's how this is supposed to go. But we live in a social media age where everybody has to have an opinion, even though it didn't fucking involve them. Mm-hmm. That's the thing that drives me nuts, is you have an opinion about something that didn't involve you. It has absolutely no bearing on you whatsoever. Your opinion is completely irrelevant. That would be like me telling you,
You're just so befuddled you can't find the words?
Just because I hear this and then we go through this spin and it's what we think, and nobody cares what you think. Nobody cares what you think. And nobody cares what I think. And yet people come to us wanting us to talk about Deshaun Watson. I don't know what happened. You're asking me to talk about something that I have absolutely no idea what happened. That would be irresponsible of me. And then I get bitched at when I say, innocent until proven guilty. If this happened, like I'm leaning one way or the other. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a rant I've wanted to go on for about 3 years.
But the idea is that we gather the information that we have and we try to form our own opinions.
No, we don't gather shit. That's what lawyers and judges and shit like that are for. And juries of your peers. We don't gather shit. I'm not out there going full Matlock trying to figure out what happened. I'm not doing that.
I'm not saying go full Matlock, but I'm saying you also can't shut yourself off to going, it is what it is, and we'll talk about it.
I can do exactly what I just said. It will play out in the judicial system, and when it does, I will have an opinion. Mm-hmm. Until then, I have no idea. You're talking about sealed court records and shit like that. I'm out. Mm-hmm. I don't have any interest in talking about that. I don't. And you know why? Because, and you know what? This will piss people off, and it is what it is. Mm-hmm. Kobe Bryant went through this exact same thing. Yep. This is a guy that we, to this day, have absolutely no idea what happened. Mm-hmm. We know there was an act. Well, he ain't here anymore. So there were two people that knew exactly what happened, and one of them ain't here anymore. And yet, when he died, one of the greatest basketball players that ever lived, it still had to be put in his, the news clippings about him that happened. Mm-hmm. He was acquitted of all these things. Mm-hmm. And that's the reason I don't talk about shit like this, and I'm not going to. I'm going to talk about it for this to explain why I don't do it, and then we're going to roll on past it.
Right. There you go. Jonathan Welch. It's a ploy to void his contract.
Jonathan Welch also said the O.J. Simpson case changed how the law is practiced. I agree with you 100%. I did a dissertation on the O.J. Simpson case, so I know it pretty good.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll continue all the discussion this afternoon on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. You can hear us everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. We'll have all the coverage of the basketball. Basketball gets going once again at noon today.
Which means not a lot's going to get done today. We're not going to accomplish a lot of shit, but we're going to put out content for you.
It's the weird Monday of the NCAA tournament. We still got 8 games to go in the basketball weekend, but somehow we have to be here punching a clock. So,
well, here's the thing. If they had done this, if they'd kept the schedule the same, I wouldn't have this fun work day of, hey, there's basketball on.
Yeah.
Because I was gone.
Bingo. We'll continue to follow all of the upsets, including number 5 seed Colorado taking down the Florida State Seminoles. We'll see that game tomorrow.
Fear the spear.
Everything,
New blood's not blue blood.
everything gets kicked off with seeing our first game of Oregon in the NCAA tournament. They didn't have to play VCU in the first round. We had one. And I hope to God we don't have any more. Yeah. That was the best thing to me about the entire weekend. Best case scenario was we didn't miss any games, but obviously if you gotta miss one, hopefully that's the end of all of that.
Oh yeah, I don't have Rona. I finally had to break down and get a test. I don't have it. In the lawless state of Georgia, I didn't catch it. So.
You're official. You've tested negative, and we are all happy for it. We'll be with you this afternoon on ESPN Asheville, again with all the basketball roundups and more discussion about the NFL's offseason and the Deshaun Watson situation that he finds himself in. Also, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button here on the YouTube channel so you know whenever we go live with some content. In the Wicked Weed studio, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different. I'm Tank Spencer. He's Jeremy Greene.
Yeah.
We'll see you this afternoon. Almost forgot to do the last mention.